Welcome to this masterclass for creating waypoint missions for DJI drones. To my help today, I'm going to use my DJI Mini 4 Pro, but the setup process is going to be more or less the same for all DJI drones. So no matter what kind of model you have, you know exactly how to set up and create waypoint missions. And then you may be wondering, Matt, so why are you sitting inside? We're going to be outside flying. Well, the thing is that there are so many aspects for settings and such when you're going to create waypoint missions. That's why I thought it was good to start inside so we don't get all the distractions from things around us, because it's really important that we get these initial things set up correctly. So as always, the first thing we're going to do that is to make sure that the obstacle avoidance sensors and settings are set up correctly. And here under the safety tab, here we have the obstacle avoidance actions. And when we are flying waypoint missions, it's important that it's set to either bypass or brake. It actually doesn't matter which one of those two you have set it to, because the drone is going to act the same. And I'm going to explain that. The important thing is that you don't have it set to off, because if you have set it to off, and there are things in the way, the drone will of course crash into it. And when it comes to brake or bypass, it doesn't really matter, because the drone will still brake if it senses any obstacles. It will not bypass as you're used to if you're flying manually, because if you're using waypoint missions, you probably want to have the drone to be able to repeat the same kind of flight pattern every single time. And if there is something in the way, you should maybe be aware of that and check your flight route. So when we set up the obstacle avoidance actions, we can always scroll down, of course, and make sure that the advanced return to home setting is set up correctly. I always have that set to optimal, not preset, because I want the drone to fly the most optimal way back if something happens with the connection. So after we have set this up, and I'm going to show you later that it's not really critical what setting you actually have there when you're creating waypoint missions, but that's for a later part of this video. Now it's time to go into the waypoint section and actually create the waypoint mission. So to get into the waypoint section of the remote, you tap that little icon that we have here, and now it says plan waypoint flight. And now we have different ways to do this. Here, for example, it says press C1 button to add a waypoint, and C1, that is one of these customized buttons in the back. Now you maybe think that you need to set that up. That is not the case, because I've set the C1 to turn off and turn on the auxiliary light that you have underneath the drone, and I've set C2 to activate cruise control. And if you would like to know more about cruise control, I'll link to my cruise control video and tutorial in the description box below as well. Tapping the plus or pressing the C1, they are doing the same thing, but that is something we need to take a look at whenever we are outside and actually have the drone into the air. What we're going to look at now instead, that is how you can plan your waypoint mission via the map instead. So here at the bottom, tap that one, and now if you're in this radar feature, then you can tap bottom right and you get the map. Tap the map and you get the big map. And I'm currently in Sweden, so let me zoom in on Sweden, and then we take Stockholm, and then say that we would like to fly around the Royal Palace. Never fly around the Royal Palace, you're not allowed to fly there, but we can make a fake mission around the Royal Palace. So now the first thing we're going to do, that is to set where the first point of the waypoint mission is going to be. I would like to start here. So then just press there on the map and you get a number 1, and that is waypoint number 1. So this is the Royal Palace, this thing in the middle here. So then I would like to fly to that corner. After that, I would like to fly down here, and then I would like to fly there, and then I would like to fly there. Oh, now I tapped wrong. Okay, I can remove the last waypoint by pressing that little erase button. Then we erase the last waypoint and we can tap a new one. And now we can see that on this we have different things. We have a little arrow that is pointing towards number 2. We have on 2 a little arrow pointing towards number 3 and pointing towards number 4 and 5. And that is the heading of the drone, in what direction the drone is going to be. But I would like to film the palace that is in the middle here. So what we can do is that, for example, we can go to number 3 here. That's way off. We can press number 3. And here we have some settings. For example, we can set the altitude. If I would like to have a different altitude than 50 meters, let's go into 3 again. I can set a different speed. We have something that is called global speed. When you have set it to global speed, the drone is going to have the same speed through all the waypoints. Then you can set specific speeds to an individual waypoint if you want to. And then what we're going to do now when we're going to change the heading of the drone is to tap the follow course, the heading setting. And after we press that one, then we tap follow course. And that's exactly what the drone is doing. The heading is following the course, the route. And now I can set custom instead. And here I can adjust the heading. And when I do that, I can see that the heading is being adjusted on that point. So here I would like to have the heading of the drone to go there, for example. So what's going to happen now is that the drone is first going to point itself towards number 3. When it comes here, it's going to turn around and then start pointing its heading towards the castle. And then when it goes to number 3, it's going to start pointing towards the next point again. Instead of doing that, we have something that is called POI, point of interest. So let's go back one step. And here we can see that we have POI. If we press POI, we can set a point of interest during this flight mission. And in my case, we would like to have one here, for example, and then I would like to have another point of interest there. If we don't want to have them exactly there, we can press one of them or tap one, and then we can move it. Try it again, and now I can move it, so I would like to have it there instead. And then when I also have it selected, I can set that, okay, the altitude of that point of interest, that's where the drone is going to aim the camera, is 50 meters. I would like to have that a little bit further down, maybe at 19 meters. And then we would like to set these waypoints to be able to focus on that point of interest. So for example here, when I'm on waypoint 2, let's press that one, then I would like to have the heading to aim towards face a point of interest. And then I'm going to set what point of interest I would like to aim the drone towards. I would like to have number 1. When we then go to number 3, I would like to have the heading, instead of a custom, face point of interest, and I would like to face the second one. And now we adjusted the camera angle. So first when we are on number 2, we're going to face the camera towards point of interest number 1. And then when we fly towards number 3, the drone is going to gradually aim itself towards the point of interest number 2 instead. So say that, now we are flying a little bit too close. Let's move down the map. Then I can tap that one, and I can actually adjust the position of that one by tapping again and then drag it. So then I can directly here adjust where I would like to have the drone to fly. And you can see that it's now set to aim itself towards point of interest number 2. So when I fly around here, it's automatically adjusting its heading so it's aimed towards point of interest number 2. Then you think that, okay, so I would like to remove one position, one point of interest, because I don't want to fly there anymore. So let's take number 4, the current number 4. Then I have the little trash can at the top here. Delete, and we have removed that one. Then the drone will go from number 3 and to the previously number 5, that is now number 4 instead. And then you say, okay, but I would like to add another little point here. You can't. You can only add a new point at the end, so after the last one that is currently added. So I can press number 4, and then I can move that one, so I'm going to fly here instead, and then I can add a new one over here, and then I would like to have number 4 pointing towards point of interest number 2, and I would like to have a new altitude. After we have done this, we have set up our 5 waypoints, we have set up our point of interest. Now we can set the global speed, for example. So tap either next or these 3 little dots, and here you have the global speed. So now it's set to 2.5 meters per second. That's way too slow, so let's fly in 10 meters per second instead. And here we can set what's going to happen at the end of flight mission. Either we're going to hover, return back to home, land, or back to the start position. I would like to return back to home. And here we can set what's going to happen when we have a signal lost situation. We can either return to home, hover, or land. In this case, I would like to return to home as well, because that's a little bit safer. And here we set where we're going to start this mission. We're going to start at waypoint number 1. And now say, for example, now I've set the global speed to 9.9 meters per second. Here when we reach number 3, here we would like to have a lot slower, because it's something really interesting there. Then I could go set the custom speed to something slow that is 3 meters per second. So then the drone will stay at 10 meters per second here up at 2, then slowly decrease to 3, so it's at 3 here, and then increase its speed again. Here we can also see that the height, the elevation is 50 meters, 50 meters, 50 meters, and 50 meters. If I change this one to 14 meters, we can see that here that we have a height of 14 meters instead. And now it's important that we actually do something with the camera, because it's kind of useless to fly this thing without capturing anything. So at waypoint 1, I would like to have a camera action to start record. And I would like to have at point number 5, I would like to have a camera action to stop record. And then I maybe would like to have at number 4 here, I actually would like to have that we're going to take a picture also. And here we have those little icons also, that we have a little camera because we take a picture. Here we have that the camera is stopped, and red means that the camera for video recording is being turned on. And if we want, we can also set, okay, I would like to, this one where we fly a lot slower, I would like to do something here with the zoom. The zoom is going to be set to, let's increase that to 2x zoom. And then I also would like to hover there for about 5 seconds, because this is a super interesting place that we are at. So now we are done with all the settings that we would like to do here. Next thing, we can see here that the duration of this entire flight is about 2 minutes and 9 seconds. The distance we're gonna fly is 789 meters. Now we are done. If we would like to minimize this, we can just tap that little icon and we get this view, and then we can tap there to open it up again. And then we tap next. This is where we go through the check waypoint flight settings. That's what we went through before. And then after that, we can tap go. And now we get the warning that after start, aircraft will automatically take off and perform waypoint flights. Make sure surroundings area is safe. If I now tap continue, the drone will literally take off inside here and try to fly to the first waypoint location. So we don't tap that here because that is a really bad idea. So now we are actually done with what we can do inside. Now it's time to head outside so we can go through everything we need to know to actually put this waypoint mission into effect. See you outside. So the difference between being inside, where you set the points on a map manually, when we're outside, we can put the drone into the position in the air instead, where we want it to be when we create these waypoint missions. So let's throw this bird into the air first. So now we can, as before, if we go into the waypoint section and we tap that little note icon, then we can get into the saved waypoints that we had previously. And if I bring that up, we're gonna get those points again, but if I initiate that, the drone will fly far, far away from here and start the mission there, and that won't work. So instead we need to create a new mission. We can't do that from here, so what we need to do is when we have brought in that waypoint mission, then we have to tap, so we cancel out from that waypoint. We just take save and exit, and then we go in there again, and now we can create a new waypoint mission. So what we would like to do is that we would like to have the first point of the mission here. I can point the camera down a little bit, and now I can either set this waypoint by tapping the screen, or I can use the C1 button. It's the same feature. Now it's locking in the elevation, the height, and the direction and the position. So if we now fly forward, and then I would like to have the second waypoint here, I can tap C1. Then I would like to orbit around this tree that we have here, so I can go up a little bit. Like this. So let's just set this waypoint again. Then we're going to go to the side until we are here. Set a waypoint there. I'd like to fly over here. Here I would like to have one position, and then I would like to have this little thing as a point of interest. So let me fly on top of that one. That's where I would like to have a point of interest. We change to point of interest. I set a new point of interest. I go back and say that I would like to fly here, a waypoint there, then I can fly over to this side. I would like to be here, waypoint, and now I can go into point of interest. I go to number 1, link waypoint number 6 and 7, because those two were the ones that I created around this little tree that we have here. Then let's see if we can fly back into these trees. Remember that we have an issue with the obstacle avoidance, which means that if it senses something, it will just stop. It will not direct itself around it. Now that there, so we have many waypoints. Another waypoint. Another waypoint, so we have many waypoints. Another waypoint. A new waypoint. A new waypoint. And a new waypoint, like that. And now we can then go to number 18, and we can set the camera action to be stop recording. I can go back and set that point number 1. The camera action should be start recording. And then we would like to have the global speed, The global speed is 2.5 meters per second. That's fairly okay in these situations. When we have end of flight, I just would like it to hover because I don't want to fly back here. If we have a signal lost, I would like to have just hover as well because I don't want to try to fly back here with all these trees and things. The starting point is going to be waypoint number 1. So now I can just tap go. And now this waypoint is loading into the drone. Now we have a tree there, so probably gonna stop. No, it didn't. So now it positions itself where waypoint number 1 was. Remember that this is based on GPS positions, so it's not a visual recognition of the position. And that means that it can be a little bit off sometimes. So now we can see here, if we tap the map instead, we can bring it up. We can see exactly where it's flying and what it's gonna do. Apparently we can't zoom in here. It's going to go to that position, going to orbit around that one. One thing that I need to add here is just that if you do any stick input, if you push forward, which means that the drone should fly forward, then the drone will execute a waypoint flight faster. So you can push forward to fly faster. Even if the drone is flying sideways, it goes faster if you push it forward. If you just pull that stick backwards, so you should fly backwards, then the drone is just braking and it's not flying slower, it's just braking till stop. If you take that stick to right or left to fly the drone right or left, nothing happens. And here we can see that we are now in 33 seconds. We have 1 minute and 22 seconds until we complete. Now we get closer to this point of interest. What we missed here was that we set the point of interest to a specific height. And the height of the point of interest, that's actually where it's going to aim the camera towards. And this was way too high. So then we need to edit that. Let's go to the point of interest. Let's tap that one. Altitude 13.8 meters. Instead, we would like to have that the point of interest is a fairly low tree, so 3 meters. So now we can start this mission again. Go. So now the drone is going to go back to position 1 again. And hopefully, because we lowered the height of the point of interest, we're going to aim the camera towards the bottom of the tree instead, so we're going to get a lot better framing. Look here, now it actually angled the camera downwards to the base of this little tree just because we changed the height of the point of interest. Obstacle detected. We have some issues here, so now we can actually set that we're going to start at waypoint number 8 instead, because that is the next one, and tap go. So this is how you create waypoint missions. I hope you liked this masterclass and that you have learned lots of good things that are going to help you out when you're going to create your waypoint mission. And if you want to, you can buy me a cup of coffee, and to that there is a link in the description box below. Thank you so much for watching. Have a good one. Bye.